Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinx.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you this morning?
Good morning.
Perfect. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning,
Perfect.
Oji.
Good morning, Rufai.
Perfect.
I hope you all had a great weekend. Well, all right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending by taking reactions to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's national broadcast on Sunday, where he appealed to the organizers of the End Bad Governance protest to suspend further protests and create room for dialogue. The president reeled out policy reforms, which he said will address the needs of the protesters and urged Nigerians to work together in reshaping the nation. The president also condemned those who have taken undue advantage of the protest to threaten any section of the country, stating that there is no place for ethnic bigotry in Nigeria.
Nigeria requires all hands on deck and it owes all, regardless of age, party, tribe, religion, or other divides, to work together, reshaping our destiny as a nation. So those who have taken undue advantage of this situation to threaten any section of this country, be warned. The law will catch up with you. There is no place for ethnic bigotry or such threats in the Nigeria we seek to build.
Meanwhile, the hashtag Igbo Must Go protest continues to fester on social media. A recent X Spaces conversation tagged Yoruba Ronu Space, led by purported Yoruba influencers, called for an Igbo Must Go protest. One of the contributors stated that Igbos are disrespecting their traditional rulers and have no right owning land in Lagos.
We need to come out and protest. Igbo are disrespecting our institution, they disrespect our traditional ruler, they disrespect all our headers, and they can't take it in their own space. Therefore, we must not fold our hand. I just have to tell everybody this. This protest, Igbo must go, and the scrap of a unitary system is a must, and it's coming, and it's going to be loud. It's going to, whoever that want to die should go and die. It's in our space. This is our heritage. This is the land our father fought for. And we will not allow anybody, no matter how many acres of land you buy, it is our land. And your land, your purchased land have expired time. Therefore, you cannot claim ownership. So thank you, Madam OjyOkpe.
No, this is horrible, condemnable. But also, an Igbo influencer named Nonso responded to this particular video. Let's take a listen to what he said.
One day, I see Igbo in Lagos, and all brand new one invest in Lagos. Now, Lagos they make millions today as internally generated revenue. One Igbo. One estate in when Lagos or the 100, Igbo when 99. Ndi Robone na nule enu na Lagos. Ndi Robole lerebe swamp areas royal factory, royal industry, royal company. Ndi Robo madole merie. In fact, Lagos ana si Igbo na onye di bu ndi Lagos. Who are Lagosians? Ndi governor onechiri Lagos bu ndi Lagos. Sanwo-Olu onye Lagos. Tinubu bu onye Lagos. No, come join again now. Oh,
this conversation is all coming after an X account, Lagospedia, a page claiming to be proclaiming the virtues of Lagos last week, gave Igbos living and doing business in Lagos and other southwest states 30 days to vacate. Let's read that tweet. It's since been deleted. They wrote, Lagosians and every southwest stakeholder should prepare for the massive protest of hashtag Igbo Must Go on the 20th to 30th of August. They have 1 month from now to leave and relocate from their businesses from all southwest states. We urge all Yorubas living the southeast to return home. I mean, this particular issue is still going on social media. Like I said, this occurred over the weekend. I'm glad President Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually, highlighted that in his national broadcast. It's condemnable, and I thought it was important to highlight both accounts, including the Igbo Nonso influencer who said that, Igbos own 99% of Lagos. This rhetoric must stop. We know what happened in Rwanda. We know what happened during the Civil War. Yeah. It is rhetorics like this that begin to cause national disaster. Dr. Abati.
Okay, it's good you cited the example of Rwanda. Now, the genocide in Rwanda between the Hutus and the Tutsis in the 90s, early 90s in Rwanda, was as a result of this kind of rhetoric, ethnic hate. And the media in Rwanda at the time also played a very bad part. There's a book on it about the role of the media in the ethnic implosion in Rwanda. So Nigerians should learn a lesson from it. Closer home, Mr. Dare Babarinsa has written a book on the crisis in, I think, Ondo State, in the Second Republic, where there was a lot of ethnic hate, ethnic violence, people, using the media to drive up, antagonism within the society. And now we are in the age of not radio, but in the age of the social media. So what was posted by Lagospedia was irresponsible, utterly condemnable. And I think it's important that Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos has already condemned it and has said that the Lagos state government has nothing to do with it. Now, President Tinubu in his speech also struck the right note by addressing ethnic bigotry. This is a country that is built on the beauty of its diversity, on the beauty of its sense of inclusion. But politics, religion are some of the centrifugal forces that have divided us. So the president said the people who are behind this, the government will make sure that they face the rule of law because it is unacceptable. However, let's make this point, that this is a note of caution to all of us in Nigeria. Ethnic hate brings nobody any good.
Absolutely.
The gentleman, you called him the Igbo man or something?
Nonso, his name
Nonso,
is Twitter influencer.
Nonso, who spoke and said that, look, Igbos are part of the building of Lagos. Is it not in the same Lagos that in the First Republic, Igbos were in the Lagos, assembly? In the same Lagos. Lagos House of Assembly, Lagos House of Chiefs, OjyOkpe and many of these Igbos, they had their career in this Lagos. Is it not in this same Lagos that Chief Emmanuel Nwanyanwu, now of blessed memory, set up businesses? Is it not in this Lagos, same Lagos, that Chief Odimegu Ojukwu of the Velasca Lodge had a thriving transportation business? In other words, it would be wrong to say that in terms of the economic prosperity of Lagos and of even the Southwest generally, that is only the effort of the Yorubas. When it is convenient, Yoruba people will say, oh, the West is developed because we are liberal, because we are accommodating. The people who are now saying Yoruba for the Yorubas, Igbos for the East for the Easterners, they are absolutely wrong. Yeah. If Igbos leave Lagos, you will not be able to repair your car.
All right.
Because there will be no spare parts dealers. Yeah. If Igbos leave Lagos, you will not be able to buy electronics. If Igbos leave Lagos, half of the banks in Lagos will leave. So we are interdependent, and people should just be careful. And they should remember the rhetoric that led to the Civil War of 1967 to 70.
I love that you raised that. And you also raised a very valid point, which is the people that are behind this ethnic bigotry should be pointed out and they should be arrested. They need to be made examples of. But also people are saying, I mean, you remember during the 2023 elections?
Yes, we do. That's last week.
We have people in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also stoking these ethnic bigotry. People pulled up by Ononuga's tweet from 2023 where he said, let 2023 be the last time of Igbo interference in Lagos politics. Let there be no repeat in 2027. Lagos is like Anambra, Imo, any Nigerian state. It is not no man's land, not Federal Capital Territory. It is Yoruba land. Mind your business. We have to continue to call this out. This is unacceptable. This is wrong. And we cannot afford a nation at war at this time. Absolutely. I mean, the protesters are out on the street. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu need to make an example of these people that have been stoking ethnic hate in Nigeria. Let me take another reaction. Well, many Nigerians have reacted to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's national broadcast, including Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, who in an opinion piece titled The Hunger March as Universal Mandate, said that President Tinubu's speech on Sunday failed to address the continuing deterioration of the state's seizure of protest management, adding that the use of bullets and tear gas on Nigerians protesting against economic hardship is an abuse of state power. The playwright went further to state that the manner in which security operatives treated the protesters condemns the nation to a seemingly unbreakable cycle of resentment and reprisals. His statement reads in part, "The tragic response to the ongoing hunger marches in parts of the nation and for which notice was served continues a retrogression that takes the nation even further back than the deadly culmination of the watershed NSAS protest. It evokes pre-independence, that is, colonial acts of disdain, a passage that induced the late stage pioneer Hubert Ogunde's folk opera, Bread and Bullets, ending that nationalistic serial persecution and proscription by the colonial government." I mean, Wole Soyinka is speaking at this time. Rufai, I'd love for you to juxtapose both stories. Juxtapose.
I like that word. So, couple
ahead.
of things. Number one, please. In the words of OjyOkpe, one love, keep us together. Enough of all this ethnic rhetoric. You guys need to understand that this ethnic rhetoric is a delusion that the politicians are using to divide us. Aren't we ashamed of ourselves? We are hungry, we are poor. These politicians, when they are looting, they don't think of the tribe they are from. Look at President Tinubu's cabinet. There are people from every part of the country. Them belly full and we hungry. We, the hungry men, are the angry men fighting each other. And like Frantz Fanon said, oppressed people who want to oppress others. So this resource, like we're talking about England, that people are fighting for and say they are desecrating Lagos, it's because we are all hungry. So why don't we just coalesce together and fight the bad government that is destroying our lives, rather than fighting each other? We are one. There is no pure line anywhere in the world. Yorubas have married Igbo, Igbos have married Yoruba. Yorubas have invested in Igbo land, Igbo people have invested in Yoruba land. One way or the other. I have seen Yoruba people that speak Igbo like no man's business. They say I've been there for so many years. I have seen Igbo people that speak Yoruba like no man's business. How can we come together and fight our real enemies, which is the political class that steal our commonwealth every day? Igbo man, the Yoruba man is not your problem. Yoruba man, the Igbo man is not your problem. Are the political class that are destroying all of you and using this tribe and religious sentiment to destroy you, those are your real problems. Right. Please come together. Secondly, as regards Professor Wole Soyinka, what he said is spot on. Right. And kudos to Professor Wole Soyinka. Nigeria has built a state where violence reigns supreme. You know, they were talking about violence happening. We are now seeing this role the state is playing in violence. You saw how people were tear gassed. Yes. You saw how bullets were shot. People were marked. Till today, you don't know the people that are shot in Abuja. Live bullets on the ground. And it's a mindset where we think you use violence to usurp the other person. So that's what the state believes in. And Wole Soyinka is saying we've built a state where we cannot manage protests without using violence. It's a sad reality. We all saw the UK here where they were using batons and horses to charge at people. Did you hear that anybody, they fired live bullets? No, but you know, we have enthroned a state that has no respect for its citizenry. You impoverish the people, then you are so quick to use live bullets on them. Not even hot water cannons. So that's the kind of state we built. And that's why I'm happy Wole Soyinka is saying it. Because if when he protested with them Tinubu in 2012, Jonathan had said police officers on the street and army should go out there and shoot them, maybe some of them will not be alive today. Absolutely. But you know, he because, made so many valid points and that's why he made that point. And that's why he said it's a replica of the play of Alberto Gunde, Bread and Bullets, which was exactly how the colonial used to treat us. You see, the sad thing, Oji, I can't understand is that we complain that the colonial masters treated us so bad. We are treating ourselves worse than the colonial masters. All right, you know, he made so many points. He even said that hunger protests are not peculiar to Nigeria. The nation's security agencies should emulate alternative models in civilized and advanced security intervention. But I would like to also, you know, touch on protests in the north. If I take this tweet, I'll go to that. Protests in the north. This is a response to Soyinka's message. Josh wrote, Soyinka's criticism underscores the importance of peaceful protest management, the need
for security forces to exercise restraint and respect the rights of citizens to peacefully express their grievances. His comments also serve as a call for the Nigerian government to learn from international examples and to prioritize the well-being and safety of its citizens during times of unrest. Well, in Kano State, protests escalated into violence. A policeman was captured in a video openly threatening to kill protesters. The incident occurred after the governor of the state, Abba Yusuf, imposed a 24-hour curfew on Friday. Despite the curfew, some protesters defied the restrictions and continued to challenge the security forces on the streets. Well, in the video, the officer was heard urging the protesters who were throwing stones to stop. Otherwise, he would be tempted to kill. Let's take a look.
Wallahi sai na gafara daga ka je ka koma wallahi zan kashe mutum injini ya fita a cikin an sanda na wallahi zan kashe mutum wallahi zan kashe mutum okay kare ane ko.
Well, in another video, a policeman was seen shooting at protesters in broad daylight. Let's take a look.
Ya kashe mana mutane sama da mutum 8 a unguwarmu. Da wanda ya ji da wanda bai gani ba. Wasu ma suna cikin gidansu a kwance. Ya kashe har da yaro 'yan shekaru. Allah kai mana maganin wannan mulkin zalunci da ake mana mulkin kama karya. Allah kai mana maganin wallahi tallahi sai a kulle. To fisa. Wannan jawo mana nasu wallahi.
All right, I have a picture of that police officer. If we can pull that picture up, Ayo, before we take this other story. Yeah. Also, an issue in the north. If we can have a picture of that police officer, that's the picture that we have there. I mean, people are saying he looks like a bandit, a Boko Haram bandit. And people were even trying to justify it because they were saying, well, he was trying to stop the protesters who were throwing stones at, moving vehicles and stuff like that. Stone and guns, that's what they said. But I thought it was important to highlight the photo of that police officer for security agencies. But we talked about the Kaduna State governor last week on Friday, and the reasons why these issues continue to fester in the north is because of poverty, it's because of lack of education. We saw a boy who had stones. He said that he was going to throw it at the governor of Katsina State. Let's take a look.
Saboda ya cuce mu akan kasar mu da ya rike mu a wanka daga ci abinci yau kusan kwana 2 kenan rabona da ci abinci sai dai in je bara abinda Allah ya sa na samu shi nake ci Allah ya mu jagoranci abokina Allah ya mu jagoranci yanzu wannan da duwatsu magan su sunan da Allah da a ce za a yi to wallahi da ya mun kashe su saboda Allah da aka Allah dai sauki.
This is very, very sad. And if that video of that young child with stones in his or her hands doesn't move you, then I don't know what else to say. If our leaders, this is a call to leaders, and when people come out to protest, it is often tainted as, they want to take us out of government, is politically motivated. What manner of politics motivated that young child? The politics is hunger. That people are upset and angry. This is reality. Look at where she said anything they find to eat is what they eat. They don't have food. And so when the people are angry, you provoke them to anger. When they're hungry, you provoke them to anger. And this anger is expressed in different ways. Now, going back to the previous stories in terms of the conduct of the police, and by the way, people in the criticism of the president's address said that he ought to have addressed and condemned policemen who did not follow protocol.
That's what Shoyinka's point.
Yes. He ought to have put a strong stance that we protect, we stand with our policemen and our servicemen, but we also condemn any force. I would like to see the police protocol for handling peaceful protests. We sort of saw it before the protest happened because we saw policemen who were practicing as if they were going to war. And people said, if only we had this kind of action, we won't have Boko Haram. There will be no Sambisa forest. Because you were going to, and it wasn't as, and I made a slight comment that, I hope it's because they were showing how strong they would be in protecting the citizens. But we all know that's not true. They were doing it to say that anything that happens, we would. What was the difference between that and what Asari Dokubo said, that you receive water, you become? That was what was being demonstrated. Right. It would be great for us to see what the protocol is for handling peaceful protests. if the police does have that.
Absolutely.
So that if there's a breach of that, we all can collectively call it out. But when you see in broad daylight the impunity and the audacity to shoot at citizens who are largely unarmed, because, and even have the boldness to threaten death, they can't even use, rubber bullets or things that don't have to kill. It's just the sanctity, the lack of sanctity of human life in Nigeria. And that's why I said earlier that the life of every Nigerian matters. Right. And so if by speaking or doing anything it takes not to lose one life, we become insensitive. So it's only until we hear hundreds of people have died that we begin to make noise. If one or two people die, okay, another casualty has happened. The police needs to sit up. So in addition to the IG coming out to say that, oh, his men were, he should also speak to this evil that is happening. And thank you for putting the work and making it easier for them to identify that policeman who was shooting at people.
But I also wanted to continue to highlight the plight of the people in the north as well. I mean, last week I tried to take this video. It was a video of protesters. They were standing in front of former President Muhammadu Buhari's home, and they were burning tires, and they were upset. Let's take a look at that video.
Kofar gidan mai girma shugaban kasa Muhammadu Buhari, mutane nan 'yan daura sun yi da fifi, an kashe hanyoyi da ke fitowa daga mai aduwa zuwa daura da sauran wurare baki da. Wannan daura ce ake fama da wannan iftila'i na tsadar rayuwa. Ubangiji Allah kawo mana sauki wannan musiba da muke ciki.
They were all out there screaming, Bamayi, enough is enough. But the comments that we have seen on Twitter, people had been saying that President Muhammadu Buhari really, was thinking that he was loved in his home state. But you can see the crowd out there. That was his home in Daura. But the president and founder of ANAP Foundation, ANAP Jets, and Stanbic IBTC, Atedo Peterside, has called for calm. He says, please, end the protests today. Poor Nigerians cannot endure protests for more than a few days. You have made your point. Your massive turnout has frightened many people. Federal government is not deaf. The president has spoken this morning. Perhaps even the legislatures have heard you also. If they collectively fail to significantly reduce the cost of governance, stop wasteful expenditures, and tighten their own belts, or lead by example, please then re-strategize, regroup, and call them to order again. Bless you. I know you guys all remember when Atedo Peterside came out during the NSAS protest, like some sort of premonition. He had begged the young people to go home. And it just seems like it's happening again. I mean, we don't know the end of this protest. We know that in Ojota, Lagos State, some protesters called for the suspension of the demonstration until October 1st. The protesters say that since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has addressed the nation, little time should be given to assess all the propositions. The protesters were addressed by the police.
The organizers have decided to call it off. And the president has spoken, and they are looking forward to the president's meeting the demands they have represented before him.
Thank you very much.
So, in view of that, there will be no more gathering here or anywhere. Any of such gathering is unlawful and illegal, and if such gathering exists, we are going to apply the full weight of the law.
All right, Dr. Bati, a quick roundup.
Well, very quickly, I mean, at Ojota yesterday, the protesters with the police, as we have seen, said they were calling off the strike. They've said they are meeting today at 11, the Congress of Protesters, to take a final decision. In terms of impact, we have seen banks have opened, petrol stations have opened, some normalcy has returned. The point is that perhaps if the president had spoken earlier,
that's the point.